You're listening to Sustain It Forward, a podcast where I talk to award-winning professionals and students who are studying sustainability about ways that we can invest in, learn from, and support each other to create a brighter future. My name is Dodd Galbraith, and I'm the Director of Graduate Programs at the Institute for Sustainable Practice at Lipscomb University in Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome to our podcast. So I want to welcome Donta Busch, who is live from Phoenix, Arizona today. He got a Master of Science in Sustainability from Lipscomb in our sustainability program in the fall of 2018.
Yep.
And he came to us with an MBA. So Donta, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Galbraith. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. My first podcast interview.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about what your current job is like and how you got into to this line of work.
Yeah, definitely. So my current job, I work for Deloitte Consulting in supply chain practice. Pretty much focused on procurement, indirect sourcing, and sustainability. Really, the line of work I got into were basically from my MBA program at Tennessee State University. My undergrad was in biology, so totally different from science, from business. But I decided to go get my MBA and focus on supply chain. Started working in procurement for the state of Tennessee. Randomly found the program at Lipscomb, partly from an old professor who mentioned it to me. A few years later, I saw it and reached out to you guys. And from there, it kind of folded into itself. Then I got an opportunity at Deloitte, and I just kind of came out here about 2.5 years ago now.
Excellent, interesting. And from what I remember, Deloitte hired you so fast that you almost didn't have time to finish your master's degree, did you? They moved you all the way across the country and put you to work right away, didn't they?
Yeah, they sure did. It happened in about 2 weeks. No, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Between the interview and the hiring process and the offer letter, it all came really fast. I had to make a decision, and I decided to go.
So how would you describe kind of the non-sustainability and sustainability aspects of what you do for Deloitte?
The non-sustainability is interesting because the project we'll probably talk about later, but it's a little bit of both. They kind of intertwine in data. I think they both are built on understanding large data sets, understanding dirty data, and making analysis on that data for a variety of things, whether it's buying anything, food at cheaper cost for organization, or understanding their light bills and their leakage and their gas, and coming up with their emissions. But it's all in Excel. It's all data. So I think both of those are underpinned by data for me, at least.
Interesting. And the sustainability aspects, what does when you get? I know that wasn't why they initially hired you, but because they I know they have a whole sustainability unit, but I know you're doing more in that area because of your education and your interest.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I initially was interviewed, it was pretty much probably based on my undergrad and my MBA in supply chain. But a portion of that is really because I had a master's degree in sustainability as well, because it showed a bit of like lifelong learner. And being in consulting, you always have to understand, like, you have to continue to learn because it's always something new and you have to keep moving. And so once I kind of got through the interview process, when the interview was mentioned that, he saw I had a sustainability degree and asked if I was interested in talking with the sustainability practice. And the guy who kind of interviewed me, we had a good conversation. From his perspective, I wasn't ready to work in sustainability under Deloitte in that practice at the level that they needed. And so I still stayed in contact. Fortunately, I got the job on the kind of normal supply chain world, stayed in contact with them. And then as the year or so it went on, he had a small little things that I could work on, small projects, and then eventually led up to kind of more consistent project work. And that's just one of my practice, one of my project groups that I work with consistently.
Excellent. Yeah, Deloitte really kind of I guess, perfected sustainability consulting. They were one of the first to get into it, and probably bring a lot of auditing and sort of traditional accounting experience, which is not your wheelhouse, but it's interesting that they pulled you into that world because of your training and skills in the procurement and supply chain areas. So
absolutely. Yeah.
So as you look back in your life, who was your childhood hero, and how did that person shape your outlook and your choice of work in your life that helped you choose the direction that you're in today?
So when you mentioned this question, I kind of thought about it and realized maybe it's not. I don't think I had one childhood hero, in a whole lot of ways. I think, of course, I had my mother who's very strong-willed person, very smart, a constant educator. She taught Chicago public school system for 30 plus years. Went on to get a couple masters. And then my father, he's total opposite. Dropped out of high school. Entrepreneur. He dropped out, I think, his freshman year of high school. Went to trade school. Learned how to build with his hands and started a little small home remodeling company. And then from there, I would really look at sports figures like Michael Jordan, really, and Kobe, because it was one of those things of when you look at people like that and their determination and willpower to get through stuff, that's, to me, that's important, in life. And so I try to embody those people and those ideas and when I go forward and try new things and not be afraid to do stuff. So.
Interesting. It just takes lots of influences, doesn't it? It's kind of
absolutely.
That village concept. What would people be most surprised to know about you?
Most surprised? I read a lot of books that are real books. I really don't like. I watch science fiction, but I don't want to read about science fiction. I really watch it on TV. I rather read real history, autobiographies, business books, things, just self-improvement books. Maybe also that my favorite thing, I think I told you when you took me to dinner before I started the program, that I have a 68 Mustang.
Yeah.
And so
I was just thinking of that in my head.
Yeah, that's my one thing, even though I'm a sustainability guy, I still love my 68. And it's a great car to drive, and I drive to work or the gym or wherever I need to go.
That's interesting. I bet it fits in real well in the desert Southwest.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not in Nashville. It stuck out a little bit. Everyone looked at me out here. No one cares if I drive that car. Everyone has something cool to drive.
That's right.
Yeah.
So how did you make that? How did you make that transition to sustainability? Because you kind of grew up the way I did. I had a variety of childhood heroes. I had a muscle car. I had a Ford Ranchero with a Mustang motor when I was in college, with thrush mufflers and a big T-shifter in the floorboard. But how did you make that transition to sustainability like I did?
I would say probably rooted in my biology degree and working in the ag lab. Once I was finishing up my bio degree, I started working in our agriculture lab at Fisk University, and just learning about plants and life and understanding, how all things kind of circle. And one of my professors there, Dr. Guna, he really emboldened a lot of sustainability practices in me as well. In that he told me about the program, whatever that was 7 years ago, probably when we first started it, honestly. He told me about the program one day after class. So, yeah, maybe, whatever. I really didn't think much about it, just went on and did my work. But from there, it helped me understanding that was out there and seeing how people can make a difference by working in that world. I thought it would be an interesting tool to have in my tool belt, I like to say.
So in terms of your education, how big of a value would you say your educational experience has been for you? Was it very transformative, or was it more kind of a collection of skills and knowledge?
I think it was transformative, very transformative for me. I mean, I continue to learn and try to learn. So my undergrad or high school, I didn't care a whole lot about. I was more focused on having a good time and being the leader of the homecoming club and hanging out with my friends. And I had a Mustang back then. I had a 95 Mustang.
Oh, wow.
And so but though my mother's a teacher, if your mom's a teacher or your parents are an educator, you may not care that much about education because that's all they talk about. is education. And so that from there, college, I still was having some of the same attitudes I had in high school, but as I started finishing up college, I started getting more and more serious about it. And of course, in grad school, and then when I finally made it to Lipscomb, I was really serious about it. And not only serious, but I saw how being educated and continuing on to get multiple degrees opens up your experiences and your opportunities. And I know a lot of people say like you get more opportunities because you have more degrees, and you also get a little more debt sometimes. But you get the chance to like meet people and go places and see things and do things that you wouldn't get opportunity to do without that degree. You can read a lot of books, but unfortunately or fortunately, without that piece of paper behind you that someone can put a stamp on you and say, hey, this person went through this process with us and learned these things about this, what we said on the paper. It gives you that extra edge over folks in the working world, as well as your own confidence to know that you can, do the work when you do get the opportunity to try to do the work.
So, do you think your work experience at TSU encouraged you to think about that second master's degree, or what was sort of the tipping point to lead you to decide to get a second master's instead of just settling for one?
To be frank, I knew my master's from TSU wasn't a master's from Vanderbilt. Okay. It wasn't a master's from like a top tier school, and so I knew that I had to do more. I had to figure out what's the next. How can I differentiate myself? How can I add something to my resume, to my tool belt that will make me stand out? And outside of going towards certificates or getting a PhD, getting a master's and working in sustainability for me seemed like the smart move. It seemed like something that is going to be here for a while, an area that we need in life. And I also knew it wasn't going to be that was complementary to my supply chain degree, and it wasn't going to take away from it or make me go in a different direction.
So as you go about your daily work, and I know from your education, getting your MS in sustainability, you were exposed to a lot of different things. What kinds of sustainability practices or initiatives interest you the most? What do you find the most fascinating personally?
Probably be more so now that I'm working the finance part of it. That was one of the courses I liked the most was Dr. Patter's class in the finance portion of it. And also my MBA, I like the managerial accounting a lot because both of those to me are kind of go hand to hand with each other, and they're both built on data. They're both built on understanding people's needs and wants, and also the other course that has a very long name that I can't think of it. That's I always call it when I talk to colleagues. I call it the greenwashing course. Dr. Stutzman had it. I forget the name, but both of those three courses for me and those 2 degrees help kind of shape what I look like in sustainability. Because I can see that when I'm talking to a person, talking to maybe one of my direct managers, and they're speaking with the CFO or the CSO or COO of some organization about sustainability, that's their champion. That's their person I learned about in Dr. Stutzman's class, right? And then that person then kind of sends us to another guy or girl who then gives us data to work through about things and how to work through it. And that's my managerial accounting course. And then that kind of combined with Dr. Patter's class of taking that data, understanding the emissions of organization, understanding how that's going to be used in the corporate sustainability report, kind of brings it all full circle for me.
Excellent. So what would you say on the job, or maybe even your previous job, has been the most significant professional event that shaped you? Was there a mentor or a specific experience at work that has inspired you to go in the direction you're in now, or that has created a certain goal in your professional life?
I would say really my first real sustainability project helped solidify what I thought about in Dr. Patter's class. And so I got my sustainability degree or my MBA in supply chain and started sustainability and really didn't understand where I wanted to go with it. Then I started thinking about how my current job in my capstone we were working on procurement kind of matches up with LEED certification and possibly sustainable compliance policies. That all flowed into where I'm at kind of now with working my project that I was working on, and creating a corporate sustainability report for a realty company that we worked on. I saw their data sets. I saw the things they were buying. And I understood that maybe if they had a policy around their purchases that not only invoke like how to save money and buy things on procurement correctly and don't piss off the CFO about what you're buying, but also give you some grounds on sustainability practices and where to buy it from and the what's good and what's not good. That can really shape not only your finances for your organization and help you save money, but also shape the other side of that and help you save carbon emissions and put towards a kind of a bigger plan, a bigger scheme in the organization.
Yeah, it sounds like you're able to make a lot of people in responsibility happy, but particularly the CFO. You're not the first person to tell me that the CFO kind of drives the boat, and if you can get past that hurdle, you can. It's a lot easier to get past the other hurdles as well. But so when you think about maybe your professional legacy, what do you want to leave behind you?
Figure out, and I'm working towards it now, how to kind of marry the two, marry sustainability and strategic sourcing. Is what it is. Like, how do you strategic sourcing for most organizations is understanding your P2P process, your procure to pay process, or your source to pay process, contracts. How do you have those processes in place so you can save money and buy the right things for organization and kind of keep things moving? But like I said earlier, layer in sustainability on top of that. And so I would like to understand how I can use data that we get. We have tons of data now. Understand suppliers, understand things people are buying, layer in with the sustainability and the environmental cost of those things, and then help create policies that kind of drive that for organizations to stay within a good holistic world.
Yeah, I mean that really does sound like a very reasonable challenge. And to the outsider, they may think that's kind of the same process for everybody, but Starbucks' supply chain is very different from, say, Office Depot or a major clothing retailer or even Amazon. I mean, it can be very complex.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's the coolest sustainability thing you've ever seen in either professional work or travels?
It will have to be, of course, pretty much everything I saw on our trip to to New England was probably the coolest stuff. Is it Bolston Street? The high-rise?
Yeah, Bolston Street.
Going up there and seeing all the solar panels as well as the turbines on the roof.
Yeah, Boston.
And going to Vermont for the University of Vermont and the sustainability compost toilets.
That's right. Yeah, I remember you were the first student in about 10 years ever to fully investigate that system.
They say it didn't smell, so let's see if they're right or not.
That's it's funny because it's there's no proof like proof of concept when you're standing right on top of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good. So but those things help shape me going forward, and not only that, they give me things to talk about when I'm in conversations with folks that are 10 levels higher than me. They're CEOs, or not CEOs more so, but CFOs or partners in an organization that are around sustainability. They ask me. Most people are surprised I have a couple degrees, and they're really surprised I have a sustainability degree. And some people think of sustainability like business sustainability, keeping a business alive, not necessarily environmental sustainability. So when they ask me what my experience is, I tell them about the things we did in New England, and I tell them about the things we talked about, things we saw, and how it helped shape, brought me to where I am now, and maybe hopefully take me further in the future.
Excellent. So what is the one best piece of advice you'd give someone who's starting out in this field?
To research, I would say, do a lot of research. Understand that a sustainability degree, a master's, may not be your ticket to some crazy, amazing job that you want that's going to pay six figures, or it's more so a tool for you to move forward. If you have another degree, you just have an undergrad degree in whatever it is, sciences, understand how you can leverage your own skills and leverage that new degree to move forward, and not think that one degree is going to make or break your life.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It really is what you make of it, and I know that's one thing I learned in my life. So what excites you most about the future?
There's a lot that excites me most about the future with the new political worlds going on. So I'm interested to see with our new president, Joe Biden, and his efforts on climate change, how that's going in the energy sector, how that's going to really affect not only at corporate level, just down to the boots on the ground folks like you and I. I'm interested just in my own personal career and how I can grow my knowledge base in sustainability with what I'm doing now and digitizing things and data and using programs like Alteryx or Tableau to kind of visualize that stuff. And really just looking forward to how it all shapes out, from this work from home. I'm able to, good or bad, spend more time understanding and reading, less time on the road and traveling, because consulting is mostly all traveling. So with this extra time, I'm really excited about what I can do next and how I can try to make my little world a little better.
I thought you might also be excited about the new Mach-E.
Oh, no, I do not like the new Mach-E. That's a horrible car. I wish they would call it not a Mustang. If they just call it the Mach-E, I've been cool with it. But
yeah.
Mustang, no.
Yeah, I had read that. Yeah, it's like when they tried to change the recipe for Coke. It's just,
yeah.
Love and history.
Yeah, that's a big knowledge. Absolutely.
Anything else you want to share with the folks who are listening before we close out?
I had a great time in Lipscomb. I didn't know what to expect when I started the program. I was just kind of shooting a shot and see what happens, and I was pleasantly surprised. And I think Lipscomb has changed my life in so many ways, from spirituality, from being there with folks and talking about God, to learning about new things and going new places and seeing new things, and to now, like, bringing what I've learned into my new world. If I didn't have my degree from Lipscomb, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be working at Deloitte. It allowed them to see that not only do I have a degree from a master's degree, maybe not from your top tier school like the guys that I work with who are at Harvard, Cornell, Vanderbilt, but I also was able to go through a program and show that there's something. There could be more than just one layer, one dimension. So, go Lipscomb.
That's right. Well, excellent. Well, thank you for joining us today, Donta. You've been a real blessing in my life, and I just enjoy to watch go through the program and move through the stages of life that you're going through now. And just want to thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Thank you much. So I just want to remind everyone, this is our Sustain It Forward podcast, where we talk about how to invest in the future and invest in the people behind us so that we will leave a better planet than we found it. Thank you for joining us.